Seriously, seriously impressive from England. West Indies just falling short, but my God, England, that was impressive. We're watching this show thanks to these guys.
Now delivering in 10 minutes.
Oh, Phil Salt just loves playing against the West Indies, loves batting in the West Indies, but the bowling performance as well, Pezza, England, fuck, it looks pretty good. Australia had the chance. God damn it.
I think that's the main story coming out of it. Yeah. How many Australian outlets are going to be roaring with contempt at the Aussies not knocking England out when they had the chance?
Yeah. I mean, Scotland could have won the game. Yeah, if they had fucking anything about it.
The amount of insult to Scotland through all of this.
Australia could have fallen over and thrown the game.
Indeed. Let's talk about Australia. Yeah. Sad to say, but also respect. We saw this is a good England team.
It's good.
We saw some ceiling stuff there, like as in what they're capable of.
Yep.
Because I feel like the Windies are so well put together to win games on their home patch. Mm-hmm. They have guys who can hit huge sixes against spin, slow low tracks. They've got pace when they need it. The hitting goes low. Like I don't know, and then they bowl spin. So
we'll obviously go through it, but with like 5 overs left in the West Indies innings, I thought they were in front, and then England just pulled it back. I mean, I don't think the West Indies lost the game. England very much have won that game. They were super impressive in all assets.
Right.
I was just thinking in that 5-game series at sort of December, January, whatever it was, when England went to the West Indies. West Indies won that series 3-2 in the end. Phil Salt was excellent, and that scored 200s in that series. But West Indies did win that series, and you could see I was watching the first really high quality game of this World Cup. That was really good cricket from both sides. England though just level above.
Totally
in
agree.
This game.
Yep. Do we go through some scores here as well, or just jump straight into it?
Well, West Indies made 180 for 4, and England did that with 17.3 overs, 15 balls remaining.
So there's a net run rate.
Definitely
scenario there for them as well.
This win was more comfortable than I think probably USA's loss to South Africa. Sorry, South Africa's win against the USA. It was probably about the same, 18 runs in that game, but 15 runs in this game. Don't know.
Teeth were bared from England here. Yeah, I feel. First thing here goes. Windies subdued. First innings, it was it was hard to figure out what was going on because I mean the Windies made their way to 113 for 1 off 13. That's where they were going at eights. Low eights with plenty of wickets in hand. Yep. And I suppose you had to hand it to England's bowlers for subduing them to that point. They're playing at St. Lucia, is that right?
Yes.
Pretty renowned batting track, as England showed later on as well. Mm-hmm. So England getting their matchups right, getting their angles right. They've got depth and coverage across the park. And I actually want to introduce an early what now, get now.
Okay.
So whoever listens to that.
Right here, right now.
Right here, right now. Want now, get now. Thanks to Big Basket Now. Get everything you want in 10 minutes.
Thanks.
There's a moment at 1 down when Rothman Powell is in and Liam Livingstone comes on to bowl his first over. I remember we're talking about maybe 15th over, 14th over maybe.
It was the 15th over.
15th over.
Yes, yeah.
And Livingstone is bowling his first.
Yes.
And it's a chop out.
Yes.
And things start to make sense in terms of the West Indies planning from that perspective because we're sitting there going they've got 9 in the hutch, there's 30 balls to go, and they're going at 8s at home on a good deck.
At the time, the score was 1 for 117 after 14.
Right.
That's when it comes on.
And then Rothman Powell takes Livingstone down for several sixes. I'm going to say 3 at least, could be 4.
It went for 20 off the first 5 balls.
Right.
Yep.
And he goes again from the last ball.
Yes.
And then some of these sixes, it's stuff where it's like he gets 1 or 2 of them. Others he looks like he doesn't get. Others look like he's stumped, but instead it's going on the roof.
There's a lot of wind stuff.
There's wind stuff going on. And you're thinking, okay, this was the Windies' plan. It was target Livingstone and crack on from there. I mean, it was so strange that Nicholas Purin, who is the guy who normally gets after the bowlers, is scratching around barely above a run of ball.
Finishes 36 off 32.
That's right. But off the last ball of that over, Livingstone gets one to rag. Classic leg spin stuff. Take a bit of pain, but get the reward at the end. And he's caught. Rothman Powell's caught.
Yes. By Woody.
Backward point, something like
Short
that.
Third, man,
Short third.
Yeah.
Woody coming forward. And you think, okay, we'll take that over. In fact, I think we said that. We'll take that over as a West Indies fan, which we're not. We're just neutrals. And it actually precipitates or precedes or triggers a huge squeeze on the West Indian team. They'd lose that wicket, and then Jofra Archer comes on next over. He'd been gone at 10s at that point. He bowls a great over to Nicky P, who's missing full tosses. He's struggling to pick him up. Then he scratches off at the end of the over. So you've got 2 new bats, Dre Russ, Rutherford. The squeeze is on. Adil Rashid then gets Dre Rush with a wrong-un. Dre Russ doesn't pick it. He's caught it cow. Salt on the boundary there. And it was like, as you saw Rovman Powell hit these sixes off Livingston, you think, here come the West Indies. And that wicket turned things around massively. Squeeze was on. And the West Indies basically limped their way to 180 for 4. What was the plan? Why was there wickets in the bank? I understand there's a retired hurt early on. But a lot of wickets in the bank and sort of a unders score. But you just have to credit the England bowlers for fighting back there, even though the squeeze was on them.
Just looking at the scores, they've lost 3 for 6 in 12 balls in the key part of the innings. Now, you look at what happens in England's innings at exactly the same point. They completely blow West Indies out of the water with some great batting. How fine the margins are, because we're talking about Rovman Powell hitting Livingston for 20 off those first 5 balls, then seems to get like a slot ball. It's a very full delivery. It's outside off stump. He goes the big tonk again and just spins a bit, sticks in the pitch a little bit more, gets a bit more grip. Mark Wood takes a good catch. From there, 3 for 6, 12 balls.
Amazing.
I mean, that's as it turns out, that's the game right there.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I mean, that's the difference between West Indies maybe breaking into like a 200, 210, possibly actually 30 runs. It's a lot.
Here comes the juggernaut.
Yeah, they come.
He's going to start smashing sixes everywhere. Robbie P's on fire. Get that wicket. It's amazing how quickly it can turn around. You would never have thought third or fourth ball of Rovman Powell's over that the next 3 or 4 overs would just be all England and West Indies had been a heap. But that's how T20 goes.
You look at Adil Rashid. He finishes 1 for 21 off 4.
That's very handy.
He's the number 1 bowler in T20I cricket in the world, whatever that means in this specific moment. But like, he is bowled really, really nicely for England in all games. Super, super slow at times, bowling like 65, 70 kilometres an hour in some of these games. It's effective, and he's 1 for 21 in this game off 4 overs.
Mixes his pace up
really nice. Really nice.
So on to England's innings. He goes that West Indies finished 180 for 4, and I've just got Bairstow and Salty here. So just solid power play from England, basically toe-to-toe with what the Windies were doing. Nicky P drops a few catches as well.
Josh Butler and Moeen.
Under edge there from Ross and Chase. But yeah, they're 58 for none in the power play of 6 overs, so you're looking pretty good there. Just about what the West Indies did. Salty's flipping, pulling, hooking, doing what he does. And then a couple of polls there. So and Josh, Inglis, takes a review with him. Moeen departs. Dre Russ gets him. Windies starting to look good. You're thinking, okay, now there might be a gas truck on here for England, because the run rate's just increasing a little bit.
Ross and Chase bowled nicely first 2 overs. 1 for 10 off 2, I think.
Phil Salt coming out of the power play is a big power play man. 35 off 20 in the power play. Then he's sort of 6 runs off 11 balls. And you think, okay, there's a good opportunity for the Windies to make some inroads here. And got to say, coming into this game, a few question marks over whether Johnny Bairstow deserves his place within the side. Wonderful opening bat for England. He's obviously he's batting 3 for England here. Pushed down to 4 because Moeen comes in as a lefty at 3 for a matchup for some reason.
Whatever.
No doubt it's a good reason.
Could be wind.
Could be wind stuff. Yeah, could be wind stuff. Could be wind sock. Could be the wind rush generation.
Could be.
Respect. But Bairstow's batting 4. Not a lot of data to suggest that he's handy. Sorry, Ganguly stuff at 4 against spin, but he takes him down. Salt ends up with the runs, but the damage that Bairstow does, I think in the 13th and 14th over, who's he taken down there? Hussain, he's one. Sets it up for Salt. So, and that basically broke the back of the chase. He was just hitting bulk boundaries, 360 over the top behind him. And you're just thinking, where's the breakthrough coming here for the Windies? But it just doesn't come. Bairstow and Salt do the business.
I got to say, there wasn't even really a chance, I don't think.
No.
I mean, Bairstow finishes 40 out of 26. Phil Salt, 87 of 47. Outstanding finish to the game. And we're talking about net run rate. That is going to be important as well. But like Bairstow, I think, has won them the game.
I agree. I totally agree.
Like, and obviously Phil Salt, close personal friend, et cetera, et cetera. But like YJB, it was clinical. Like for me, I'm going to tell you like this: I don't like him batting with the kip-axe. I prefer him batting with no stickers. He was batting with no stickers for a long period of time.
Yep, okay.
Looking for a sponsor. Kip-axe for me, it just doesn't look right, doesn't feel right. I think he's like a higher echelon, top brand kind of sticker guy on the bat. Kip-axe, obviously losing our Kip-axe sponsorship here, but I'm just saying it just doesn't look quite right to me. But like,
and a famous New South Wales player from the early 1900s. Just to contribute to the show, and then get right in the way of your rhythm. I'm good at this.
There was reverse sweeps. There was some punishing cross bat strokes as well from Bairstow.
Yeah.
Super impressive. I'm not sure I'd seen him bat much at 4 successfully, but fuck, it was good.
And I don't even know if this is true, but he really hit well with the wind and against the wind.
Mate, can we just talk about the wind? Because first of all, like as a it's not a season, it's a condition. Least favorite condition in life, but in cricket, fucking horrendous. And like when you can see like flags, top of the stands, one thing.
Favorite condition in
my
life.
least favorite condition in life.
That's right. Multiple sclerosis and then wind.
I think they call that white privilege.
Yeah.
Has it been tough, mate? What about the wind in '93? Right. But like on top of the stands, when you see the flags blowing, okay. Bit of gust up there, sure. When you're like on ground level and you can see the ripples on like the players' shirts, which is skin tight, you're thinking, fuck, the wind actually must be a thing, because we all know how heavy a cricket ball is. I've never touched it myself, but I understand the concept of it. And when that's actually being blown in a certain direction or repelled in another direction, like the wind is an actual factor in the West Indies, it feels like, in these games.
They're even talking about when the ball beats the field on the ground, or the wind is pushed it over the road.
The wind is taking it,
yeah. Well, that's
because at Lords it's a slope.
We're very keen to say that it was Bairstow who broke the back of the chase when the pressure was on. And then Salty unleashed his last 4 innings against West Indies. 87 red just now, 47 deliveries, 38 off 22, 119 off 57, 109 red off 56. So the Windies keen to see the back of him.
Akil Hussain as well. His most expensive over for the West Indies. I think it went for he finished as number 35. I think he had an over there, went for maybe like 15 or something like that.
Romario Shepherd though.
Romario Shepherd went for 30 off 1 over. I mean, the last 9 balls of the innings went for 40 runs.
Yeah.
So
which was England just storming towards the finish line. Salty doing the right thing from a net run rate perspective as well, and balancing with a bit of red ink, which is as is his want and his right.
England. I said this. So I think we both said this before, when England were teetering right on the edge of being eliminated. They were like 45 minutes away from not getting on against Namibia in their final game, from being knocked out of the tournament, and they could easily win the World Cup. Now, like, this was such an impressive performance from them, where basically the entire game, it was 50-50. I'm not talking in terms of win percentage. I just mean like when you're just looking at the game, you're thinking like, I'm not really sure which way it's going to go. England maybe slightly in front for most of the game, but to win the game by 15 balls, that is a sign of a top team, not just a top team.
Interesting.
Top.
Steve Gerrard. Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
So, a question for the West Indies here as well, though. Like, would you say that the nature of the defeat, is cause for consternation?
Mate, they're gone. They're gone.
They're gone, is it?
Yeah, they're gone.
So it's not loss they had to have.
No.
There's 2 types of losses.
I can see it in the eyes, mate. I'm just looking at Nicky P looking around. I'm looking at Kyron Pollard and the England kit. I'm just looking around some of the greats, and you just see in the eyes there's definitely a sadness there, and they've accepted that their tournament's over. It's been a good tournament, in the US side of things. I mean, that was a good side, but
yeah.
Sorry, that's not helpful at all.
No. It's fine. My brain just doesn't work. But I think that it was, and I know this is close to the bone for many of us, but it was an imperious win for England. And I think that
Rule Britannia stuff.
I just think that anytime the game got to a tight arm wrestle style moment, apart from Rodman Powell's couple of sixes, as soon as it got tight, England came out on top every single time. Correct tactics, correct execution. They will take a boatload from that, and it's the right time to be peaking, or is it? Fucked if I know.
Probably a little far out. There's still like 5 games to go.
Yeah, we can skip the third one, Charlie. We're basically just talking about England being here, but England's looking good now. And
England are the best team in the world now.
The thing is, if people want to say that, look, I'm still grappling with T20 cricket, right?
I figured it out.
And I'm looking forward to explaining something in a second. But
so it's 20 overs per side.
I've struggled with the idea that, I think in sport most of the time, the best team wins because they find a way to win. And I like Test cricket because there's nowhere to hide.
Sure.
You get found out. T20 cricket, you can have 10 guys who are dominating everybody else, and you can win most of the scenarios. But if your weakest link isn't right, and that gets exploited, you can lose the game easily. So things can twist and shift in patterns that we don't really recognise. But that probably just means I don't recognise the pattern. You know, we're still trying to figure it out. Other people might figure it out. All I'm saying is that, like, when you're 45 minutes from being knocked out of a World Cup due to a washout against Namibia, and now you're the favourites.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Always looking for meaning.
And there might be an answer. You know, people will say, well, the way England's playing is actually by design. They actually start slowly and they build into it. You know, do they? Do they? Or there's a bit of weather knocking around. Maybe they would have knocked over Scotland, you know, missed out against Australia. Otherwise, been playing well. Mate, I mean, there's a lot of chat. There's just a lot of chat.
I'm so skeptical of people who talk with in absolute terms about their conclusive ideas that they figured out this format of the game.
Exactly.
It is so finite.
Yeah.
Every matchup is hanging by an edge, because even if you get the right matchup and like you hit against the wind, and it's like, no, there's actually suddenly came in for a second.
Yeah,
it's very hard to figure it out. But
right.
you know, saying that, I still do think this was the highest quality cricket that we've seen so far.
I agree. I mean, you could hire like 4 maths postgraduates from Oxford who can like do the data for you. Then some England player's going to go like, I just had the wind. You know, like, and that's part of it. I mean, people say, oh, Australia's storied folklore around starting slowly then finishing strong.
Yeah.
And we talked to Zorba and Stoinis. Like, Stoinis just went out to Zampa in the 23 World Cup and went, how about we have a go now? And he goes, okay. And they win. You know,
right.
Anyway, but good for England. They're looking good. A very, very high quality cricket. They're here, and they're starting to play as people expect them to play.
I would say from this point, England's next game, I think it might be against South Africa. I think that's the next game. If they win that game, to South Africa or USA, and I got it wrong again. Yeah. If they win their game against South Africa, put it like that, then they will be very close, because then they would just need to beat the USA. Yeah. Maybe no easy feat, maybe. But then they're looking at a semi-final. Like winning 3 games helps.
It just everything changes. Like, you know, I don't know if Australia's going to make it through to the semi-finals. Anything can change. Ha if they don't, etc. Look back, whatever, clip it up. But like, you could easily go like, oh, don't want to run into England in the semi. I don't know how England's going to feel in the semi. Yeah, you know, the Windies might be good.
3 games away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Doesn't matter who you like. Someone could be good on that day. Hashtag AskTGC. Okay. Here goes. This is from undergrad. I was going to choose a similar question from someone called Hooker with a penis, but I didn't want to read that out. So, you know, is there consternation over Stoinis' selfish innings against Scotland, because the contention here is that Stoinis failed to save humanity and Hoff was ahead of time. You know. Is Hoff sitting there going like, I told you boys, while he's stroking a cat like Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, and he shaved his head.
That's right.
Now he's Dr. Evil. Like England's like white ball,
setup, movement.
Yeah, no,
philosophy,
just
ideology.
Just a sort of semi-generation that they've had, basically since they had such a bad World Cup in 2015. Like, it deserves
more.
Probably deserves more.
Yeah.
And
they're under so far.
They've won the same amount as what Australia has. 150 over World Cup, 1 T20 World Cup. And I just think that like their white ball program has been far superior than Australia's. Or maybe even any other countries. You know? I mean, they were so impressive in Australia here the last World Cup.
They've innovated the game.
They've moved the game forward. Exactly right. So therefore it deserves more. I wouldn't say there's a lot of interest in in terms of a story, you know? Like the story of who's going to win the World Cup, you know?
Australia and England have won the last couple of World Cups. So all of a sudden there's like most of the teams now have psychological issues around winning the World Cup because it's been shared between 2, you know? So I do think most people want India to win because they're the most population of the world. Yeah,
that's right, After them, China.
Yes. then China.
Then the US, yeah.
Isn't there Russia maybe after that? I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Russians want Russia to win the World Cup. But I forget what I was saying now, but yeah. Anyway.
In terms of stories winning the World Cup, you know?
I just think like it's the most privileged, gluttonous, luxurious thing to say. But like, it would be nice to see a team that struggled with World Cups to win a World Cup. Exactly. You know?
Yeah.
We can have a day off.
Yeah. No one's even watching it anyway.
England, though, you're right. England have advanced the game most in the last 10 or so years with white ball cricket. And their white ball cricket's been very under for the last little while, talking about sacking Motti, etc. And I'm not referring to the West Indian spinner the Indian Prime Minister.
Right, okay.
So, just in case people were saying that,
they call him Motti.
that the English press has been saying sack Motti from the England coaching commission.
Yeah. There was a BBC documentary about it.
I don't think Indians know about that.
No, that's not on. It's not on.
So, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be nice to see another team win, but England's at the party. And I do think you're right. I do think it's added a lot of quality to this World Cup.
Yep.
And now people will wake up and some good cricket's going to be played.
So tomorrow, a couple of games on here on the channel. There is obviously India and Afghanistan is the first game, then Australia and Bangladesh after that. So plenty more coming on the channel. In fact, almost 2 videos a day for the next couple of weeks as we wind down our 2 a day. As we wind
gym like that
down or up towards the World Cup final. Who's going to win it? I don't know. It's exciting though. It feels like this tournament has just about started now. So we'll see you guys on the channel right here tomorrow. Cheers.